Hey everyone, Cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephile is here, and I hope everyone is enjoying their summers. Can you believe that we are over halfway through Rewind Season 1? You know what that means. Award Season Review Season 3 is a-coming. So this year it'll be 97 reviews in 97 days. That will be launching late November, as the Oscars are early March 2025. But before that, we're going to continue on with day 39 of Rewind. For those who may be joining for the first time, this is my bi-weekly series of videos where I reflect on the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. As always, I'll be discussing the awards history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler-free. You can find all older episodes and lots of other great stuff on my YouTube channel or on my here on the YouTube channel or on my website, cinephilemike.com. So, after last week's Scornero week, we're going to go back to some smaller films this week. And first up, I am discussing Artisan Entertainment's Buena Vista Social Club. Written and directed by Wim Wenders, based on a concept by Nick Gold, this documentary about Cuban music was released in the summer of 1999. Now, this documentary was successful in box office returns. It currently sits with a worldwide total of $23,142,551, which includes a domestic take of $7,002,182 and an international take of $16 million during its original theatrical run. It then added an additional $140,369 during two international re-releases in 2005 and as recent as 2022. As always, box office information comes from Box Office Mojo. Critically, we have a film that sits similar with both the audience and the critics, as per Rotten Tomatoes. From an average of 48 critical reviews, the film sits with a 92% critical rating and a 90% audience score culled from over 5,000 ratings. So, why does a documentary about Cuban music that was written and directed by a lauded German director, based on an idea by an American musician? Well, it's for the film's writer and director himself, Wim Wenders. And Minders, and I am glad I get to revisit some of his work, and I will apologize to anyone I upset as I mispronounced his name earlier this year, and I can rectify that now. I might have even mispronounced it again. But Wim Wenders had two pieces out in 2023. One documentary about the artist Anselm Kiefer, which won the IDA for Best Score, and did have some early awards season talk, but didn't fully pan out. And the film that was nominated was Best International Feature Film nominated Perfect Days. Linders actually received his first Oscar nomination for Buena Vista Social Club in 2000, which he shared with fellow producer Ulrich Fesselberg for Best Documentary. In addition to the Oscar nom, the film was also nominated for Best Film Not in the English Language at the BAFTAs, as well as two other BAFTA nods for Best Sound and for Ry Cooder and Nick Gold for the Anthony Asquith Award for Film Music. And with the nods also came some wins, where Buena Vista Social Club was named Best Documentary by the Critics' Choice Awards, European Film Awards for European Documentary, the National Board of Review, the National Society of Film Critics, and the New York Film Critics Circle Awards. And for the fourth time this Oscar Rewind season, like Jaws in 2001, Mean Streets in 97, and Taxi Driver in 94, the Buena Vista Social Club was one of the recipients of the 2020 award to be preserved by the National Film Preservation Board. Also, I feel the need to reference, because this movie is more so also about the music. The soundtrack for the film, which I will get into a little bit later, is ranked one of the 500 greatest albums of all time by Rolling Stone and won the Tropical Salsa Album of the Year by a group at the Billboard Latin Music Awards and won the Best Traditional Tropical Latin Album at the Grammy Awards. All right, a lot of awards talk, but let's get into the film itself. My summary here may be a little shorter because it's hard to summarize documentaries without too many spoilers, but I will say this. The film starts with Ry Cooder and his son Joaquim, along with music legend Pompey Segundo, driving the streets of Havana looking for the original location of the Buena Vista Social Club, a members only club which existed from the late 1930s or so until its closure, like so many other establishments, after the Cuban Revolution in the 1960s. Now, in 1997 or so, locals in Havana are unable to identify where the specific location was, but they say in its place roughly is now somebody's home. There's homes where the club used to be, but in that day it was the music scene. And now, in the late 90s, Cooter and his son want to gather some of the most prominent musicians of those times and bring them together for a celebratory album. And this is what the documentary tracks. We see the Cooters bring together such artists as Ibrahim Ferrer, Ruben Gonzalez, Portuondo, and so many others. The documentary keeps cutting in between the footage of the group rehearsing in the studio and recording the album, and eventually leading up to the historic performance that was held at Carnegie Hall just over 26 years ago on July 1st, 1998. In addition to the rehearsals, sessions, and concerts, we will see many talking head interviews with the aforementioned artists and several others about how they got into music, the impact of it on their lives, their histories, the challenges they faced, as well as showing footage of the way Havana has changed over the years, not just in the music, but also culturally and geographically as well. It was an interesting film to watch, which I don't know if I would have seen if not bringing it in to rewind. And while I enjoyed it, I kind of feel like it's a little cheated. The film seems to focus on the creation of the album and leading up to the concert, which I'm fine with, and I had no issues getting to know the individuals, one by one. But some of the latter part of the movie, which should have been celebrating the music a little more and the album and the concert, it gets bogged down now by more talking heads and footage of the group members coming to New York for the first time and seeing the U.S. Um, so I kind of felt like I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be experiencing the music in the concert or the lives of the individuals. Though I will say there was one gut punch moment, emotional moment for me watching, and I will spoil this a bit. While they are looking in awe of the skyline, there's a beautiful shot of the original Twin Towers that would be gone just over 3 years from when this footage was filmed. So that gave me some feels. Oh, also, going back to the film because I don't want to get too sentimental. There seemed to be a few too many focus shots on Cooter as the work was being done. And yes, while he was the one who brought everything together, he wasn't the subject of the documentary. So I felt a bit odd that we were always cutting to him as opposed to seeing the way others were reacting and responding to the work being done. I mean, he was playing with these legends, so I understand why there's always a big smile on my face, so it didn't add much. Um, in its runtime, I would have been happy with an extra 10 to 15 minutes if I'd had more with the music and more of that story. In all, Buena Vista Social Club is a decent film. I understand the awards it received. For me, it's a three-star film. It's not at the top of the caliber. I kind of fall with the other 8% of the Rotten Tomatoes critics. The film, though, I have to say, is worth it for the music alone. I guarantee as the musical numbers keep coming, you will be bopping your shoulders and tapping your feet along. And if you want to do so, you can catch the film as of this posting streaming right now. It is on Max. All right. I hope everyone is enjoying Rewind and discovering that new favorite film or rediscovering that old favorite film. As always, please click the button, subscribe to the channel, and continue to spread the word. Get everyone in on the conversation. You can follow me on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. You can check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for additional exclusive print reviews of all the summer movies that have come out. And it's a lot of fun. Check it out. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.